Recording in progress.
Town Council meeting of February 9th. I call this meeting into order and ask everyone to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Okay, item number 3 is attendance, and the entire Town Council is here today, joined by Town Administrator D. Casey. We will move on to item number 4, public participation. Sherry, have you joined us?
I'm here.
Oh, good. Hi. Anyone online for public participation?
No one tonight.
Okay, and I don't think anyone's in the studio for public participation. Moving on to voting matters. Item 5, discussion of the fiscal year 2027 budgets. I'm going to pass this on to Town Administrator Casey.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to let the council know that in a discussion with the Finance Committee on the 29th, following your meeting, there were some requests to categorize budget items a little bit differently. Liz and I had made a couple of changes, and they've asked that, we take a look at the changes that we made, and we're working with Jim and Dan to come up with a different way to represent the figures. So the figures were correct. There were no substantive changes. It's just how we're showing year over year. We also are consolidating some budgets like postage and telephone. We removed those line items, and they've just asked us to put them back in and then just show zeros for the history so that they can still track how they do their tracking. So no substantive changes, and hopefully by Thursday, we will have a final determination on how we will portray the budgets for this year.
That's great. And just to remind everyone that we approve budgets on Monday night, and the following Thursday is when FinCom meets. And so I think on our following Monday, if you can just give us an update just like that, so we know what was done and what was decided and any changes, so we're kind of aware, because I don't know if all of us are watching the FinCom meetings afterward, so we're all on the same page. But I appreciate that, and I appreciate both of you. I know this is your first full time doing the budget for Wakefield, so we appreciate all the work that you're doing.
And everything gets uploaded to Govenda too. So we will make sure all the budgets are in their final format.
Great, and I see a former FinCom member question, Councilor Tynes.
Just a question, hopefully just with like the 1 to 2 sentence answer, but how are they looking to see sort of the financial trending information? Is it compared to last year's budget, actuals?
So I think the easiest way to say it would be what was appropriated for some personal services for FY26 is not actually going to be what that final salary figure is, because somebody retired halfway through the year, somebody was reclassified, someone was replaced with a lesser paid person. So the appropriation, we were carrying what the actual is going to be rather than what was appropriated. So it looked like some of the salary increases were greater than they actually are, or less than they actually might be.
Okay.
So just a way to categorize it.
Got it.
Right, thank you
Thank
for the
you.
question.
Any other questions? Okay, moving on. Let's start with Budget 7, Tax Department.
Sherry, I don't see, is Kathy on?
I do not see Kathy.
Okay. Yep, Liz can take it away. Thank you, Liz.
The tax collector's budget for FY '27, as presented in GoVenda, reflects exactly what Administrator Casey just mentioned. Where one position under personal services in FY '26 was a reclassification and a upgrade to the clerical union contract. And so you will see an increase of 7.75% under personal services. This is for 2 employees, and one of them was reclassified. So the increase for 27 is not truly 7.75. We have also taken into account for non-union positions a 2% cost of living. So that is reflected in the elected officials line item. We then can move on to contractual services, and we have an increase for postage under contractual services. As we all know, the postage cost per piece has increased, and the tax collector's office sends all the tax bills out, and so that reflects what the true cost will be. The next increase is under dues and memberships in the category of sundry charges. We are requesting an increase from FY '26 of from $160 to $275. So the overall increase to the tax collector's office for FY '27 is 4.1%. This department also has an offset, a transfer in from DPW water and sewer, and the total of that transfer is $70,224.96. That's an increase of $2,620, call it.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, do I have a motion?
Madam Chair, move to approve the tax department budget for fiscal year 2027 as presented.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. I'd love not having to do roll call, 7-0. Thank you. Budget 15, Board of Appeals.
The Board of Appeals,
Actually, do we want to take things out of order?
I think we could for our gentlemen.
Yeah, is that okay, Liz?
yes,
Thank you.
Okay,
You're
let's
welcome, gentlemen.
go down to, we're going to skip around, go to Budget 20, Inspectional Services Department. There's no game to go home to watch, so
No,
you
there
could
is
be
not.
here all night.
I mean, you could be.
True.
do you want me to take it away, or you want to take it away?
Yeah, if you could.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just to give an intro for the inspectional services budget for FY '27, this is another example where we had a retirement after budgets were approved for FY '26, and the new hire was hired at a lower step than the outgoing individual. So with that said, you will see a reduction in this budget overall, and I will let Ben discuss any of the other changes.
Basically, we level funded everything. We have no increases. I think some of the salaries have not increased, like Liz said, because of contractual negotiations. But we have no real increases.
I will note that obviously the Inspection Services Department collects revenue for, various items, electrical, plumbing, building permits. Revenue to date just for building permits is $326,776. And this is fiscal year to date. We finished FY25 at 1.2 million. And Ben has numbers if we want to discuss them on how many permits have been issued, but that is on calendar year basis versus fiscal year.
And I've also asked Ben to go back and review some of our permitting fees to make sure that they're in line with what some of our comparable communities are charging. Some of them haven't been looked at in quite some time. Some common fees we don't institute, so he's taking a look at all of those just to make sure that we're getting, because these things cost our staff money and staff time, so looking to see if we can't recover some more revenue that way.
Yeah, we will be doing a full evaluation of our current fee schedule.
That's great. So I know the timeline doesn't line up, but how many permits and licensing did we do last calendar year?
I can give you that. Give me 1 second. Total permits last year, 1 second, I'm sorry. That was the fiscal year, I'm sorry, the calendar year of 2025, we did 2,100. A little over 2,100, 2,108 total permits.
Do you have the numbers for 2024? I'm assuming they're increasing greatly, right?
I do actually, yep. Although I don't have the breakdown, I just have the building permit totals of roughly about 900. That does not include plumbing and electrical. And I have 2023s as well, if you like. 2023s were a little over 800, just building permits.
Okay, yeah, so that's a pretty big increase over the last couple of years.
Yes.
So I think looking at what other towns comparable do, that would be great, Dee. It obviously wouldn't kick in this budget season, but it's good to have that information. And then how much did you say comes back to the department from these fees?
Building permit revenue, just building permit revenue was 1.2 million for FY25, and to date, we've collected 326,000 just for building permits.
To date being just shy of 6 months, right?
It would be over 6 months, so
It would be over
through
6 months.
the end of January.
Yeah, okay. Councillor Carney, sorry.
We hear in prior meetings that that's going to be a real reduction next year.
There's a little bit of a slowdown, yes.
Yeah. Can you give a comparison in any way that?
I haven't compared those numbers. I'm not quite sure, what the slowdown's going to be, but it's going to be, I don't want to say considerable, but due to all the economical factors, it's going to be a little less.
Thank you.
Councillor Chrisley.
Not a budget question, but a different kind of question. Are you tracking the accessory dwelling unit permits
We are.
that just started?
We are, yes.
Do you have a number,
I do.
round figure for that?
As of now, permitted, I do, give me 1 second. ADUs are, we have 6 ADUs
6.
that have been permitted, and just 2 have occupancies.
Okay.
So there's 4 out there that right now are currently under construction.
And did that reflect all of calendar year 2025?
That reflected the initiation of in February, the initiation of the ADU statute.
Okay. Thank you.
And there are a couple in the pipeline right now that have not come in for permitting, but
Okay.
they're exploring the option.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Councillor Chines?
Thank you. One just technical question, but I think I know the answer to it based on your preamble. It looks like for personal services, the actuals for the appropriation for 26 is doesn't match the number on the last page. I'm assuming that's because of the rebasing of how we're doing the comparison.
So we do not have the new format in, but the last page of the budget where it lists the employees, that is the true FY26
Got it.
dollar amount that is actual
After
salaries.
the staff changes. Okay.
Yes,
Got
yes.
it. I just wanted to make sure I was clear on that. And Ben, just a question for you. I was wondering if you could speak a little bit about any impacts that you're seeing from the adoption of the stretch code in terms of, changes in work for your department, other resources that you've had to use. Just if you could give us a little bit of a lay of the land in terms of where we are from that perspective.
Yeah, there is considerable amount of work on everyone's end, actually. The impact to the builder is from the feedback that I'm getting is pretty substantial. Again, it's a cost factor. I can tell you that from our end, the resources and the interpretation of the code and the complexity of the code pose some challenges as well. But I think we're working towards it, and there is a learning curve.
Got it. Are there any resources that other communities have used just in terms of thinking of that learning curve and getting up to speed on just the technical aspects of it, I'd imagine is challenging.
It is. There are some communities that I know that do have environmental energy consultants that are a part of the team, a part of the department. But on our end, there is Mass Save does pose some webinars that I do attend some occasionally. But it poses the complexity of the code poses some challenges.
Okay.
But I think like I said, I think we're moving forward and kind of easing that curve a little.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Any other questions? Councilor Chrisley?
Actually, a follow-up on that, when the contractors come in, do they utilize the technical assistance funds that Mass Save offers? Do they have a mechanism for tapping into that?
So I don't know if they have any funds available. That's all through Wakefield Light and Gas.
Right.
And I don't know what programs there are, but I think there are some programs available to them.
Okay.
Yeah. So I haven't got any feedback if they did tap into those, but
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, do I have a motion?
Yes. Move to approve the inspectional services budget for fiscal year 2027 as presented.
Second.
Great, it's been seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
7-0. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
Item budget 27, Recreation Department.
Good evening. All right, so I'm just going to give you guys some highlights of the rec department right now, because we have some exciting things coming up and going on and things that we've done. First, today opened up the registration for the community garden lottery process. Last year we had 93 people participate in that. The year before that was 90. The year before that was 106. The year before that was 102. The year before that was 93. The year before that was 88. The year before that was 86. We're at 40 when I left the house at 6:40. So we have a large number of people who are already looking to get in there, and registration can be done anytime between now and I believe March 31st is what we said. The drawing will be on or about April 4th. We are looking to add some new programs to our programming stable. We are in conversation with somebody to do some Mahjong classes. That is something that is really on the upward trend, so looking into doing that. We are working with a local chef to do some Indian cooking classes. I actually had a conversation with Ian very briefly about maybe doing some TV production for middle school and high school kids during the summer. We'll have our standard summer programs with our Club Rec, which is our basic summer camp, the Kids Corner for the little ones. Many of the Wakefield High coaches do clinics with us during the summer. And then, of course, we have our vendors like Soccer Shots, who we work with, who are tremendous. SNL Sports Academy, who does really everything and anything for us, including February vacation programming. So anybody who needs February vacation coverage, we've got you covered. So we're looking at new things and always looking to add more. So we have exciting times ahead. The Civic Center is incredibly busy Monday through Friday. We are booked 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., Saturdays 8 to 8 currently, Sundays 8 to 8:30 currently. So we are jam-packed in that space. We are trying to use the Albion Culture Exchange a little bit more. The cooking class is something that we would put over there. Of course, I want to use things, put programs in there for the intended use of this space. You know, I know there's been concerns from people, am I going to put a soccer class in there? No, of course not. But, you know, we're going to put in, you know, Lego classes, art classes, that kind of stuff to kind of have that use for the space that it was intended to be. So a lot of stuff coming up. And this is our busy time of year because we're cranking now to get ready for June and July.
In regards to the budget for FY27, this is just a general fund appropriation, and it covers the salary of the rec director. He is part of the supervisory union, and that contract is in negotiations right now. So you will see that it is just level funded for FY27. And we are carrying a figure for increases for the contracts that are up in a salary reserve.
Do we have a timeline of when that contract should be done or will be done?
We are meeting with the unions starting this month, all 5 of them, so.
So the goal is try to
is
get it
before
done by
June 30th.
June 30th,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes.
I don't remember. That's great that we do the fund. Go ahead, Sarah.
Do we vote? Yeah, actually, do we have to vote on appropriating for the salary reserve fund? In general, I mean, I think.
Yes, you will. It
Okay.
will be a per se department budget that you will vote on.
Is that coming up to, is that the reserve fund mentioned?
No,
it's
that
different.
is the
It's that-
finance committee's reserve fund.
Okay, so there's a salary reserve
The
fund.
salary reserve will come down the road a little bit.
I was
Councilor
going to say,
Tynes?
and this is new for us, right? I know in previous years we haven't really sort of held dollars in reserve for salaries. They just end up kind of coming as an article, a warrant article at town meeting.
And this will eliminate employees having to wait months for their retro pay
Got
and
it.
to put the new payroll rates in.
Got it. So when we get to this, as we approve it, and again, if it passes at town meeting, let's say if you don't get the supervisory's union budget, if you don't get that negotiation done until, August, we don't have to wait until November town meeting. Okay,
Correct.
great.
That's how I've done it in other communities as well.
Excellent.
And Liz,
The same for me.
No, and I appreciate that as well, because I think it also gives us I know it's an estimate until we finish the negotiations, but it does give us sort of a total dollar estimate as to what we're actually spending. It always feels a little bit off if we have, we know we're going to be doing something on salaries, and if we kind of pass budgets without assuming that there's some cost down big to it, that always feels a little weird.
And we will be updating you in executive session as we start to make progress with the unions as well.
Excellent.
And I will note the recreation department is a revolving fund, so that's where all the revenue and the expenses for the programs that are run by recreation are paid out of.
Can I ask a question about that?
Of course, go ahead, Councilor Tynes.
Thank you. In terms of the revolving fund, so I know, the programs themselves generally are kind of paid at cost, meaning, whatever the cost of the program is, we pass that along in terms of the fee, and it washes out. But any sense as to, where we are from the standpoint of facility rentals, either for the Albion Culture Exchange or the AmeriCal?
So I can tell you for Albion, we really don't rent it out. Anything with the Arts Club of Wakefield, we do in kind. They are the building.
Yep.
Let's be honest. They have their shows. That's kind of the big draw there. We haven't got a structure really for that facility yet. With the Civic Center, I mean, that place is packed beyond belief. Plus, the tenant rates. So I believe all the tenant rates, we collect those fees. Those go to DPW for maintenance of the facility. The Heritage Room and the gym fees are collected through my department for my department. So that's just to offset everything else. When we contract with somebody, and a lot of our programs are contracted based, they're generally on a 70-30 split. If it's a newer contractor who we'll use the Indian cooking as an example, I don't know how that's going to run. I want to keep that cost super low. So we'll probably work on an 80-20 split. The contract gets 80%, we get 20%, just to keep that cost down. When we show success, we bump it up to the 70-30.
Got it.
But
And
we
Dan
want
is
to keep
al-
things affordable.
I'm sorry. And Dan is also reviewing his fees as well.
Excellent. Well, thank you. This is, I have to say, I feel like every time you come here to do the budget, I feel like I sit here and sing your praises, which is well-deserved, but
Thank you.
I'm continually impressed with just the level of innovation that we see in the programs that your department runs. I mean, there's always something new. I mean, how cool is it that we're thinking about running an Indian cooking class? I mean, I'm going to sign up for that. I really appreciate your creativity and just the responsiveness that you show to what people are asking for. I mean, it's an amazing resource in town. I know a lot of people take advantage of it. There are probably a bunch more that if they knew what was out there would. So I appreciate all the work that you do. And
we actually have one other
amazing job that
we
you
have one
and
other
your
real
very
exciting
small
program
team
that
do.
I'm real fired up about, because this is going to be a collaborative effort with the senior center too. We're actually going to do a POMS class for youth. So I'm sure you guys have all heard of the Pomtastics, and they've done this stuff at the Celtics games. Well, I happen to have a child in my house who does POMS for Reading High School. So I've hired her to do a class for us. And by hired said, you're doing a class for us. So she and one of her friends are going to run a POMS clinic. And then they're going to do the 5 weeks, come up with a routine for the kids, 2 separate age groups. And then we're going to have a week where the youngest group will do their routine, the Pomtastics will come in and do their routine, and then the little ones come in and do theirs. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, super
That's
cute.
great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Happy to do it.
And that's one thing we've been discussing at our department head meetings is interdepartmental collaboration on different programs. And this is one example.
Yeah, I love that. I think, I know last year we talked about some of the work you were thinking about doing with the senior center, and then I think like the library kind of thinking about programming. So the more we hear about that, I know Dee, you're looking at all your department heads in the future, not with budget talks, but just to get data and the quantitative numbers. And I feel like next time, Dan, not today, but numbers of like how many people are signing up for pickleball, how many people are signing up. Like I'd love to see the numbers as Councilor Chines mentioned, how many people are renting our facilities, what meetings you normally have. I think that data is really important.
Absolutely.
You know, you gave it about the community garden, which, you know, I will probably always say is one of the best things I did in town or that we did in town. But I think those numbers of how many individuals you're touching would be really useful for us to get a better picture of all that you do. And I think about, you know, when we made those pickleball courts a couple of years ago, that I think signing up for them is just, it's impossible, not when there's snow.
Well, actually, we even changed that. So I changed the process on it because what we found was there was a faction of people who were really blocking an inordinate amount of time. They were doing the process, and they were doing it fairly, but it really became unfair because they found the loopholes in the systems. So we've changed it now where we now have open play when the courts are available. Morning time, 8 to noon. So anybody can show up, and we have a paddle system down there. So there's a rack, you put your paddle on, and when your game's up is when your paddle gets to the front. From noon to 4 o'clock, we do allow for reservation time. And that lets the people who want to play with their small groups the time to do that. And then from 4 to whatever time dusk is, or will become, is again open play. What I've found and what I have heard from the players is this has afforded more people the opportunity to play. Because again, people would go in and block one tennis court, and that equaled 2 pickleball courts. They would then do the same thing on the other, somebody else would do it on the other side, and now you have 4 courts going for 1 hour or more for a certain community, as opposed to having everybody have access to it. So it's actually been a great system for us.
No, I love how you constantly improve, and I think that's great to share that you do that.
When people come up with a concern, we find the best way to address it.
Yeah, I think that's great. Liz, can I ask you questions on the budget? So we have 2 pages here that have 0 across the board. So for like postage or telephone, professional services.
This is strictly just the rec director's salary.
The entire budget.
The general fund.
But he has a telephone.
That's
It's just not paid through the budget.
So he pays for his expenses through his revolving fund.
Got it. So all of this, I mean, like the telephone's what I'm thinking of. I don't think there's the other stuff is paid through the revolving fund.
Yes.
And that's why it's all zeroed out here.
We're trying not to make more changes to the budget documents that we inherited.
Yes. Okay, so in the future, having line items that have just been zero doesn't really make sense.
Correct.
Okay, because I don't remember seeing so many zeros, and I was like, oh, maybe it's not working, because and then just one thing. So you use revolving funds to do playground maintenance.
So we collect field fees from field users, and we are looking at those fees because that certainly has to change. And those go into a specific fields account that Dennis Fazio can use. Dennis will send us the bill, they get paid right out of there. So anything for playgrounds, anything for parks, whether it's bases or basketball nets or playground equipment that needs updating or whatever it is, comes out of that account.
So each of these, I'm sorry, I should know this, but I'm asking for clarification. So each of these line items has money somewhere. It's just not coming from our tax dollars,
That's
right?
correct.
So there is a fund that's playground maintenance that Dan and Dennis work with when we need to improve
That's correct.
the fields. And tell me which fields fall under your purview?
All of them. No.
Everything except for the Walton School Field
Okay.
and the Common.
Okay, but all the playgrounds all fall under. So like if
Well,
we're,
actually, no, like Woodville Playground,
the schools don't fall
schools,
under you.
yeah, I mean, we might have to fix things from there from time to time. Dennis just sends me, hey, this is what we got to do. Great, done.
But it comes out of that
Comes out.
budget.
Yeah.
Okay. Counselor Chimes.
Just maybe to that point, I don't know that we've, at least in the time I've been on the council, I don't know that we've ever seen like details on the revolving fund for recreation. Not an urgent thing, and obviously not a discussion for the sake of approval of this budget, but that would be helpful to see at some point.
Okay.
I
Absolutely.
actually think it ties in to if we're going to look at all our fees and licensing, for the building inspector too. I think they go hand in hand. So I think that's when we could look at stuff.
Absolutely.
And I would say other revolving funds on the town side as well. I know when the schools do their budget book, they have all of the kind of accounting for the revolving funds, which is helpful to see. It would probably be great to have that same level of detail for the revolving funds that sit on the town side.
Absolutely.
Counselor Carney?
I think Markel always had the potential, Dan, and I think you've made it work. And I also think it complements what Dan's doing to show how we're doing it with funds, in a revolving account. I think it's a wonderful thing. It's just something to be proud of. Thank you for your work.
Thank you.
I'm not criticizing at all. No, I think it's
Oh, I
great.
didn't mean that.
I think all the zeros, I was like, I don't remember seeing that before. And I was like, okay, maybe he doesn't have a vehicle. The department doesn't have a vehicle, but I'm like, I know they definitely have a telephone. So
If we do.
yeah, I was like,
It rings.
I've called him on that telephone line. So, any other questions about the recreational budget? Okay, do I have a motion?
Madam Chair, move to approve the Recreation Department budget for fiscal year 2027 as presented.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
And Madam Chair, if we could take fire alarm next, because we have the staff person here.
Let's do it.
And while he's setting up, I just wanted to call to your attention this fantastic brochure that I put on all of your places that was created. Randy worked with Jen McDonald, our communications director, on that, and it is a very neat piece of work. So congratulations, Randy. Good job.
Thank you.
All right. Liz, do you want to
Sure.
start us off? Thank you.
So fire alarm is separate from the fire department's budget. It is staffed by 2 firefighters. They do it in their off hours from being a firefighter. They handle fire alarms as well as traffic signals. And this budget just represents a small increase in regards to personal services, and this has to do with the amount of hours that have been being worked and the anticipated workflow that continues. And I will let Randy, Captain Hudson, take it away.
Thanks, Liz. Firstly, I give kudos to Dan because I play pickleball at the Civic Center and at Vets, and it's great. It's a great program he runs. So basically, like Liz said, we're a part-time department. It's been staffed by firefighters probably since the mid-'70s. Not overtime. We work at a flat hourly rate, and we take care of the fire alarm system, which is about 333 fire alarm boxes in town, and we take care of 19 intersections. So 2 pretty big systems. And to me, I always felt the town gets a good bang for its buck because it's part-time, you're not paying benefits, you're not paying overtime. I've priced out, sometimes we have to call private contractors in. So prices for them are $150 an hour, $175 an hour. One company told me if they send a crew in for an 8-hour day, 2 men, bucket truck, it's $3,200. So we feel like we give a good boost to the town. We also bring in revenue. We have master box fees that are $225 a year. That brings in about $40,000 a year. That's really it. I have been doing this since '08. I took over. I'm in my last year at the fire department. I'm very proud of the fire alarm system. It's a great system. It takes a lot to maintain, and we've done an outstanding job with it. And that's it. Open for questions.
Councillor Chines.
Thank you for, first of all, thank you for what you do and explaining it and putting together the document. It's, I've known sort of in concept what's involved, but the level of detail here is really interesting and really informative. Obviously, haven't had a chance to read through it since it's just been on our table. But one thing I noticed you highlighted is changes in use around the street fire alarm boxes, and I was wondering if you could speak to that a little bit.
Absolutely. So there's 2 types of fire alarm boxes. Street fire alarm boxes, which are the ones you see on telephone poles and on pedestals around town. Those are like the original fire alarm boxes. So if someone sees a fire, they can run to it and pull it. It's basically 1850s technology. Over the years, what they were able to do is they made master fire alarm boxes, which tie in this building's fire alarm system to the master box, directly connects to the fire department. The longest amount of time it takes for us to know we're going someplace is 9 seconds. 9 seconds from a master box, we know we're going to the high school. We know we're going to town hall. Over the years, with cell phones coming in, street boxes, the use of street boxes has kind of like gone away, to the point, unfortunately, we've had fires where right next to the house that's on fire is a fire alarm box, and the people don't think to pull it. The master boxes come in all the time. Almost every day we have master boxes come in. So what we've kind of been trying to do is have more efficient, leaner circuits, shrinking the circuits, pulling a street fire alarm box that might be 1,000 feet into a neighborhood that is probably not going to be used, and no one knows it's even there. And when that cable has to be replaced, pull it back to the main street. And that has really made maintenance costs for us really go down the last 2 or 3 years. So that's what we continue to do. I will say there's something called central station alarms. We got a call last week for a house fire, Wakefield, Quebec, Canada. The address they gave us there's a street with the same address, so we went to that house. But the call came in from Canada, and that happens frequently. Wakefield, Rhode Island, Wakefield, Massachusetts, Wakefield, New Hampshire, Lakeville, Mass. We've gotten calls from Florida. So Central Station isn't perfect, where the master box is pretty much close to perfect. When it comes in, you know exactly where you're going.
Got it. And I would imagine with, some of the larger, condo buildings and apartment buildings that have gone up, I mean, those are generally wired into,
Absolutely.
fire. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, all the public buildings, all the schools, all the high rises, all the new condos, new apartment buildings, industrial buildings, yeah. A good example I always give is the Oddfellows fire that happened late 90s. Didn't have a master box on it. Didn't have a central station alarm. Small fire in the wall starts from a short circuit, right? Small fire. The alarms go off in the middle of the night. Nobody hears the alarm sounding.
Yep.
Not connected to the fire department. So that fire got big enough that it was ahead of us before we got there, lost the building, almost lost people in the building, threatened the whole downtown, has master box on it now.
Yep.
Went to it 2 weeks ago. So, what I say as a fire captain is the three things we need to be successful is we need early detection, early notification, quick response. And the master box helps us get that.
Great, thank you.
Counselor Carney?
Is there any thought, Dan, to eliminating the street boxes? I mean, I can't imagine anybody today running out to a street box if there's no smoke.
Right,
You know,
absolutely.
it's,
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
fair question, and the answer is yes. And I think we've been doing that over time.
so as they fail, you eliminate them that way?
Yeah, we try and do something that I call like strategic placement. So if we're running fire alarm cable from the fire station all the way down to Audubon Road, and pretty much every building on Audubon Road has a master box on it. So you can have street boxes along the way at big junctions because the cables are there. But let's say there's a side street, we don't branch off into the neighborhoods anymore. So by doing that, like really shrinks the circuits, really lean and efficient. So we're going to continue to look to do that. So master boxes, I think we have about 225 master boxes and a little bit over 100 street boxes. So looking to continually do that, shrink them, make them easy to maintain.
Thank you.
This is a great presentation. I hope we can get it on our website somewhere. And I don't know if we can work on a map of where all the street fire alarms, I know you have it, but that I would not think of that. And so that would be kind of cool just to have a map there where they're all located for people to know. Can I ask you a question that has just in general? Do you know what numbers percentage-wise you get calls that are cell phone versus landline nowadays?
Cell phones, so all our 911 calls go through the police department, so I couldn't answer that part of
Okay.
it. Yeah.
I'll ask them. I'm just curious, like who even would call using a landline anymore. So, Counselor Butler.
So sort of getting, pounding the table on this, I think I've pounded it on the finance committee as well. So like on the street boxes, when was the last time we had a street box pull that resulted in something real?
Right. Probably 2 years ago, we had someone pull one for a medical call, having a medical issue, ran from his house. I think his mom was having some type of issue and pulled the street box. So street boxes absolutely are a thing of the past, I guess. Now, for me to say that, because there's been times when the 911 system goes down in Wakefield, 9/11, New York City, the only thing worked was the fire alarm boxes. There's plenty of times where, like, I think it was last summer, the 911 system statewide went down. So it's hard for me to say that there's not a use out there, but I understand it financially, try and maintain a bigger system to acknowledge that they're not being used as frequently as they used to be. I will say the master boxes are still like the best fire protection you can get.
I bet. And you said you're out at that one, every week or so, but you probably haven't had a fire there. So what percentage of the master box calls are like nonsense or nuisance calls?
Well, something always activates them. So we had one on Foundry Street last night, the cold weather, right? Master box comes in, we get there, frozen sprinkler pipe. So it's water's pouring through the ceiling, damaging contents. We were there within 2 minutes, we shut the sprinkler down. Now, we're not there, that master box doesn't come in, we're waiting on a phone call for that to happen. The key with master boxes is get into a fire what they call the incipient stage, right when it's starting, when it's small, because that's when you get ahead of it.
I'm not doubting the benefit of having a master box. I'm actually wondering, but still, I think we go through this every year.
Yeah, we kind of do.
What percentage of the times are you guys called out on nuisance calls versus what are actual, fire or emergency calls? And it's
Like a kid pulling a dog, is that what you mean?
No, just or we all have seen the fire alarms go off in any number of our buildings, and thank God there's never been a fire actually there, from our standpoint. But I think the other thing that I don't get a sense of is we talk about this all the time. What are the street box? What does it cost us in terms of the street boxes? That's the part that I would like to get a handle on. We could decide if we want to kill the street boxes or not. If the street boxes are costing us 10 grand a year, sure, no problem.
Right.
If they're costing us 250 grand a year, then we've got to raise the question.
So I think the best answer to that is it's hard to say, okay, master box is costing us this much, street box is costing us this much. I think the better way to look at it is how big is the fire alarm circuit. The bigger the fire alarm circuit, the more work it is to maintain that circuit. So by eliminating street boxes that are off into neighborhoods, by getting back on the main road, you're shrinking that circuit, so it's less work. And then the other part where we take care of the traffic signals, that allows us to take like manpower from the fire alarm circuits that were bigger, and now they're smaller, so a little bit less work on circuits, and put more effort into traffic signals, if that makes sense.
So are all our street circuits on master circuits?
Master boxes and street circuits are on the same circuit geographically.
Right, but do we have any, so we don't have any one-off street boxes, street
No.
circuits that are not connected to a master box somewhere else?
Right. So every circuit, all 10 circuits have both master boxes and street boxes on them, if that makes sense.
And this is frankly for you guys. If we killed all, like we just ripped them all out, what would that change? Street box.
Street box.
Yeah, we can't rip out the master box.
Okay.
We don't want to. That's where all the buildings are.
I didn't know where you were going.
But we rip all those out. Like, what does that change? What does that change for us cost-wise, or does it not change anything?
I think it could change cost-wise, because I think what it could do is it's less labor hours for the two of us, because the circuits are smaller now, much smaller, right? So we're not way easier to maintain, less emergency calls. We can take those hours and put them to traffic signals.
But if I may, I mean, it sounds like you're already kind of doing that, right? Like, I mean, you're
Yeah,
taking this sort of opportunistic approach, because if you did just kind of rip everything out, I mean, that in itself would be a project where, you and your colleague would have to spend however many hours just, again, ripping wires out and taking down the boxes and so forth.
Correct.
But didn't we just up the hours? Wasn't that what you said at the beginning? So we upped the hours that were.
But it's not just
committing
the
for
street fire boxes, it's also
I'm
for
saying,
traffic
like,
signals.
if we killed the
and
street fire boxes, we could probably keep the hours the same.
You wouldn't in year one, though, because you'd have the work to take them all out.
I don't know. I don't know why we keep them. I mean, and I don't want you to spend your last year ripping out boxes.
Now, I will say, I think there is something to be said for what I call strategic placement. Mostly getting rid of most of the street boxes, shrinking the circuits, master box heavy, because that's the best fire protection you can get, and street boxes in places of high value. Main Street and Albion Street, Main Street and Lafayette Street, Main Street and Pittman Ave. Because that wire is already there anyway. Yeah. It's not costing you any more money to have those street boxes there, if that makes sense. So I think we're down to just over 100 street boxes. So if you said pull them all out, I would say, well, there's some you can stay because they're not costing anything, really, kind of riding along the circuit for free.
Councilor Carney.
The street boxes, do they fail safe? I mean, how do you know they failed?
It opens up a circuit. So the circuit will, at the station. Yeah. And then we have to go out and chase that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Could there be a plan, not in a year, but over like the next 5 years to get rid of them? Like, could that be something worth the effort, or?
I think Liz and I spoke about, once we get through the budget process, of kind of coming out with a strategic plan for the department, and that's kind of part of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
That would be great. Yeah. So I think, doing it outside of the budget process, but more of a because you're taking them offline as it happens, right? But if you're more strategic about that, with the goal of just going from 108 to getting rid of the ones that we just don't need anymore, I think that's a good. But yeah, I don't want to spend a whole year just doing that.
I think it's doable. I think it's doable to make the system more efficient. I think I have a plan in my head. So, yes. to answer
Put it
that.
down this year then. One last question. Just in terms of, you said you could be able to go out there and do more traffic signal stuff. What is is the divided time between fire alarm and traffic signal? Is it mostly fire alarm, or is it?
I'd say it's about 50-50.
Okay.
The problem with the traffic signals that one issue I'd like to be better at is better at preventive maintenance in the traffic signals. Finding problems before they start, painting traffic heads, fixing loose connections. Traffic signals throughout town are pretty aged. Average probably 25 years old.
I thought we just threw a bunch of money at that like 5-7 years ago. Didn't we do something on traffic signals? Like, I thought we put in some sort of system around traffic signal. All right. I thought there was some sort of.
We did the train ones, but
No, not the train ones.
No.
Like, yeah, I thought we paid a bunch of money for like, and we got, the chief sold me on some sort of grant for the signals to communicate, but maybe it was just communication with trucks or whatnot.
There were small projects like that along the way. Down to Salem Street, those intersections are all timed and they're designed around a certain pattern. And there were special things sensing cars in the queues of how many cars are what line. I remember projects as going along. All of us traffic lights aren't as sophisticated as the others. The newer ones have a lot more technology behind them. Yeah.
True.
any other questions or comments? Okay, do I have a motion?
Move to approve the fire alarm and traffic signal budget for fiscal 2027 as presented.
Second.
Second, great. Any further discussion? All in favor? Say aye, 7-0. Thank you. And we
thank you
look
very
forward to hearing that strategic plan.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Liz.
Thank you, Captain. Nice job.
Sherry, just confirming there's nobody online, right, for any of the other budgets?
There is no one online.
Okay, perfect. So let's go back to Budget 15, Board of Appeals.
The Board of Appeals budget for FY27 is also another example of the appropriation for FY26 being higher than the actual cost of the clerk for the Board of Appeals department. So we are requesting a reduction of $3,200 for FY27. This has to do with the rate per meeting that the clerk is paid.
Okay, any questions? Do I have a motion?
Move to approve the Board of Appeals budget for fiscal year 2027.
Second.
Any questions, discussion? All in favor? Say aye. 7-0. Thank you. Item number, budget 36, streetlights.
Not to be confused.
With traffic lights.
That's what I read it, and I was like,
did just have to do a little like, wait, we just talk about.
Yes, one second. The streetlight budget for FY27 is level funded at the FY26 appropriation dollar amount of $178,131. Town Administrator Casey and I met with the light department and we reviewed historical information and things that have been done town-wide with streetlights and with LED streetlights. And so we are at a drop-down phase where you can see that in FY25 we were higher, but that was the same for FY24. So this is the approach that is being taken. And do you have anything else that you'd like to add?
Just as we are paying off the different projects that have been done, the amount of money is decreasing over time. So that's why you're seeing like a $10,000 decrease from the fiscal year '25 to fiscal year '26. It's part of a multi-year project.
Councilor Carney?
Is this due to the type of lighting we're using?
It was part of the LED.
LED, yeah.
Yes, improvements, yes.
Thank you.
Councilor Butler?
Is this just what we're paying for power to the light department, or is this the actual street lights and maintenance and whatnot?
I believe this is for the fixtures themselves.
Oh, okay.
I think this was when they started doing this like 10 years ago. It's like the amortization of the cost of converting
Correct.
everything to LEDs.
Yep. Like 2016,
Okay.
2018 was Albion Street. So yeah, these are the different projects that have gone on.
Councilor Chines?
Can I ask, when are we done?
I only have through 27,
and,
so
yeah.
I didn't ask that question, but I can.
I'm curious when
I
we're
can.
done, and then to Councilor Butler's point, you know, and again, there are always more projects that come in, but like, what is the electricity component of the streetlights? Because I would have to imagine it's got to be a fairly small proportion of 178,000 a year.
I will get
Maybe
that
not small, but
I'm not sure that's small. I mean,
I believe as projects come on, they go into this formula, and then they recalculate what then the annual payment plan is going to be, but we can confirm that.
Okay.
Do we know when we're gonna have to start the project process all over again to replace the ones that got replaced 10 years ago?
Oh, LEDs last forever, don't they?
That's what they say.
I thought it's like 20
They
years,
say
no?
until you get your light bulbs home, and they last you like 6 months. Oh, it's the voltage. It's the voltage. Sure. I think this is always one of these that it feels like the murkiness around gas and light and us is like, it's like, yeah, sure, we'll take 10,000 off here. We'll give you a little less in pilot, but there you go. So I don't know how, this is fine. I mean, what are we gonna do? Yeah, it's great. Good job saving 10 grand.
To follow up on Councilor Butler, I can't remember the last time we entered a pilot with them. I think it lasts 3 to 5 years.
I believe the renegotiation is in 1 year.
That's
Liz?
correct.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay. Yeah, so, yes, you negotiate that. If you would like others from the town council to sit in on those negotiations, happy to help.
Duly noted.
Yeah. I think it's a good conversation to have about what's going on in town, and again, things like this that we're giving them back money. They do a lot for us too, but it's a good conversation to have.
Absolutely. Yep.
Councilor
you
Carney?
know, over the years, you meet people live in other communities, and you work with them, and you meet them, and the Wakefield's power system is probably the most dependable in any city or town around us.
Yeah.
And we never lose power. And it's a proactive effort. They take down trees when they have to take down trees. They're proactive in that. They make sure that the wires are safe. And I over the years I've known people from living in other communities, and it's not always that way. So I think it's a worthwhile organization to have with us.
We were provided with a comparison of the pilot schedule here in Wakefield versus some other communities. And the pilot in dollars per kilowatt hour is the 4th highest on this list of maybe 30 or so communities. My home community is much lower down on the schedule, I will say. But only the communities of Norwood, Reading, and Braintree have a higher pilot in dollars per kilowatt hour than we do.
Is that the reduction in kilowatt hours, D? Is that how they're ranked?
Yeah, from highest to lowest.
Okay.
And we have 4th to the highest, yes. Correct.
Well, I don't know. I guess when you renegotiate, we can try to catch Braintree or Reading.
Well, and maybe we're using they're giving us their statistic, which
Yeah,
is
we
like
should maybe
dollars
do our-
per kilowatt, which sure, that might be a thing, but go ahead.
Per capita,
Councilor
like what
Chance.
the per capita is. Maybe
Liz and
we'll
I will do our due diligence.
Yeah, no,
it should tie to the value of the property too that they're holding. I mean, I think that's the thing that is, I mean, there's a prime piece of real estate that gas and light sits on that, I think would be valued more than the piece of real estate where Reading Municipal Gas and Light sits on. And so I think, I'm not sure that I buy the kilowatt ranking.
Pretty nice office you got there.
But back to the street lights. I mean, would it be possible to get from gas and light, again, just the accounting of like what is going into the 178,000 and kind of what's the schedule? I mean, I get that this is sort of funding effectively a capital plan when it comes to street lights, and I think that approach makes sense, and the idea that we have things coming off and things going on is appropriate, but it would just be helpful to be able to, again, see some of the detail behind that.
Of course.
Any other questions about streetlights? Do I have a motion?
Move to approve the streetlight budget for fiscal year 2027.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. 7-0, thank you. Budget 38, Historical Commission.
The Historical Commission budget for FY27 is level funded as well. The Historical Commission tends to spend their funds in early springtime, mid-springtime, so that is why there is nothing that has been spent year to date.
Any questions? Do I have a motion?
Move to approve the Historical Commission budget for fiscal 2027.
Second.
Seconded, great. All in favor, say aye. 7-0, thank you. Budget 41, Unemployment.
The unemployment budget for FY27 is also level funded for an appropriation of $75,000. The split of the $75,000 is $25,000 for the school, $25,000 for the town's unemployment, and $50,000 for the school's unemployment. Anything over $50,000 that is incurred on the school side, the school pays for that variance.
Councilor Carney.
It's interesting. How many people do we lay off in the town? I'm wondering where this is coming from.
So unemployment doesn't necessarily mean us laying off employees. It can be if an employee resigns and it resigns from a new job that they took somewhere else, and unemployment looks back. So they look back at us.
Thank you.
Hopefully, we don't lay anyone off.
Imagine what it would cost them.
Well, I saw that from the finance committee, the pledge in terms of trying not to lay anyone off. But if we do have to because of budgetary constraints, is that?
This budget would need to be revisited.
Yeah, tremendously, I would imagine, and so that's it's an interesting question. Do we just do it as a placeholder budget, or is that really just we budget the 75 because the school picks up anything over that, and 25 normally covers us? Kinda.
It looks like the 25 does. If you look at the past spends, the 25 does cover us with some of a buffer, if you will. And the schools looks like, they did overspend in 24, but then underspend in 25. So, and they've only spent 15 actual. So I think that this would be a healthy enough budget for 27.
Okay.
And what happens with the money that doesn't get used? If it doesn't get used, it goes back to the general fund?
That's correct. And then goes towards free cash.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Councilor Constance?
This isn't an unemployment question as such. Does the town participate in the Paid Family Medical Leave Act?
No, we do
As a
not.
municipality, we don't. Okay,
No,
just
we're not required.
curious.
We do.
Okay, thanks.
Municipalities are exempt.
Right, but you could opt in if you want. Remember the strike, that was one of the issues.
Yeah, I think they're the only community in the Commonwealth out of
Okay.
351 that has opted in.
Okay, wow, okay, thanks.
Do I have a motion?
Move to approve the unemployment budget for fiscal year 2027.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. 7-0, thank you. Budget 42, reserve fund.
The reserve fund budget for FY27 is level funded at the FY26 appropriation dollar amount of $400,000. This reserve fund is the Finance Committee's reserve fund, and it's for unforeseen and unexpected expenses that could occur throughout a fiscal year.
Can you give us examples of what we used it in the past for?
Sure. So last year there were some unexpected retirements, and those were tied to a contract where there was various buyouts at retirement. So that was an unexpected, unforeseen. If you can use the unemployment example, say we got hit with a large bill 1 month this fiscal year, and we couldn't wait until town meeting to do a budget amendment for that budget, we would ask the Finance Committee for a reserve fund transfer. Typically, the reserve fund transfers are done closer to the end of the fiscal year. So for FY25, those reserve fund transfers were completed after town meeting.
Which is why you see there's no spend to date.
Got it. Any other questions, Councillor Chines?
Not for this year, but I do wonder if we should get in the practice of inflating this by some factor every year. I know we were at 300,000 maybe 5 years ago and did kind of a step up in, more flush financial times, which I think was the right thing to do, but I do wonder, just so that we don't have to do these kind of large steps periodically, if we think about, adding a 3% inflator, most fiscal years, just to make sure that the purchasing power of the reserve fund is being maintained.
We will look at that, absolutely, thank you.
And Town Administrator Casey, something that we had talked about, and I don't know if it ever happened, but Steve and HR were going to kind of look at some of those older contracts that didn't have limits on vacation days or buying back vacation days. It was something that we were going to try to put in place for future employers. And I don't know if that happened or how that's looking, but it was a concern we had a couple of years ago.
Yep, Liz and I are going through the contracts line by line and looking at various areas of liability that tend to grow over time, and buybacks is one of them.
Yeah.
Because you're buying back time at the end of your career that you earned, at $60 an hour that you earned when you were making $20 an hour. So
Yeah.
it is a definite
and also
liability.
most employers now kind of cap the number, right?
Correct.
So if you leave, they're going to pay you a certain, I think mine's 20 carryover days that I have. I can't just accumulate it forever.
Yeah.
So it just seemed like a good for liability purposes and budgeting purposes. It seemed like good practice for the town to put in place going forward.
Yes, I mean, we're looking at the contracts through the lens of sustainability and what is sustainable over time. And because, again, I don't want to lay anyone off.
Any other questions? Okay, do I have a motion?
Move to approve the reserve fund budget for fiscal year 2027.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor? Say aye. 7-0. Thank you. Budget 44, professional medical.
The professional medical budget for FY27, again, for the tax levy portion is level funded. There is a $100 increase in the water and sewer transfer that is put into the professional medical department, and this is used for pre-employment physicals. It's also used for random drug testings that need to take place, and water, sewer, DPW as a whole, uses this budget to pay for those services.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, do I have a motion?
Move to approve the professional medical budget for fiscal year 2027 as presented.
Second.
Great. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. 7-0. Thank you. Thank you for presenting all those budgets.
Thank you.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yes, thank you.
And thank you, Dee, for all the work that you've done on these. Day 2 of budgets done. Moving on to item B, Economic Development Council.
Madam Chair, move to appoint Tess Kohansky to a term on the Economic Development Council ending October 31, 2027.
Second.
Great. Any discussion? Counselor Constance?
I just want to note that the chair of the Economic Development Council got in contact with me and very strongly is in favor of this nomination. So just want to pass that along.
And I believe the Economic Development Council has a couple more seats available, right, Sherry? I know you told me last.
Yeah, they'll have 2 more openings.
So when we have openings outside of our regular time frame, feel free to go to the website, send in your application, your resume. Sherry has more information if you need, but there's a couple more spots. So if you're interested, please apply. It's a great committee looking for some more members. We had a motion and seconded. All in favor, say aye. 7-0. Thank you. Item 2. We have a disclosure by a non-elected municipal employee of financial interest. Is Ally on the Zoom?
No, I do not see her.
Dee, do you want to explain what this is?
Madam Chair?
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Tom.
Yes, we worked with Tom, so I'll let Tom
Okay,
go.
sorry.
Yeah, Madam Chair, members, good to see you again. Let me briefly describe what's going on here. Ally Houghton is a member of the Economic Development Council, and among her duties is to sign off on the quarterly financial reports. Those reports typically reflect the distribution of money to the WCAT and the Chamber of Commerce. That's an ethics problem for Ally because she is a member of the board of directors of both of those organizations. And that would be a violation of Chapter 268A, Section 19, unless A, she made this disclosure, and B, your council, as her appointing authority, determined in writing that the financial interest as is not so substantial as to be determined likely to affect the integrity of the services which the town may expect from her. So I would ask that you approve this exemption and that you authorize the chair to sign the determination, which is at the end of the form that is before you.
Thank you for explaining that. Any questions for Tom?
Neither of those boards are paid, right? So she's not paid to be on either one, right?
Correct.
That's right.
And she is willing to recuse herself from voting on anything directly related to those boards, which, because we've allocated most of the ARPA money, that issue probably won't rise itself again.
So the exemption is solely to sign the reports, which it's incumbent upon the chair of the Economic Development Council to do, certifying what they've paid out.
Yes.
And in practice, during the Economic Development Committee meeting, she has stepped out of the room during even discussions, you know, forget about votes, allocations. She's not involved in the discussions, in my experience, so.
Thank you, Stacy.
Just
Yes, for
additional
reminding me of that,
information.
Okay, so do we have a motion?
Yes, and with a request to Mr. Mullen to correct my motion if I state it incorrectly, I move to approve the exemption from the conflict of interest law for Allison Houghton to sign quarterly financial reports from the Economic Development Council in her capacity as chair, and further move to authorize Town Council Chair Butt to sign a letter on our behalf to that effect.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Can I vote on that, Tom? I could vote on that. Yeah. We need you at these meetings, so yes. Okay, 7-0, unanimous. Great, thank you. I will, Sherry, you'll get that to me and I'll sign.
I sure will.
Thank you. Item C, donations.
Move to accept donations in the amount of $5,801 to the BB Library from various donors with thanks.
Second.
All in favor? Say aye. 7-0, thank you. Annual town meeting.
Madam Chair, move to set the date for the annual town meeting for Monday, May 4th at 7:00 p.m. at the Galvin Middle School Auditorium. Further move to open the warrant for town meeting today, February 9th, 2026, and close the warrant Friday, March 13th, 2026 at 12 noon.
Second.
Second, great. Any motion made and seconded? Any discussion? So just to let's vote on it. All in favor, say aye. Great. And then just reminding everyone, when we have town meeting, usually things change, but usually spring meeting is more than one day. And so it looks like, not confirmed, but we think we'll be able to do it Monday and the following Tuesday. Right, Sharon, as you know, the Galvin Library, the Galvin Auditorium is available on May 5th. So if we need to come back on the 5th, we could, but that would be a decision that we make on the 4th.
So that would be different than our usual Monday, Thursday.
They are not available on Thursday, so we are moving to a Monday, Tuesday, and if we need to go to the next week, Monday, Tuesday. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, they're not, there must be some play or something going on Thursday, Jonathan, so.
There are lots of things that go on in the Galvin Auditorium.
Yeah, something, but.
In the month of May, it will be really nice to have a second auditorium online when the high school's done.
It would be great if this town meeting were as short as the regular town meeting.
I don't think
That would
any
make
of
me
us
very
should
happy.
plan for that, but definitely add May 4th to our calendars, and then just for people to aware that if we need another night, we'll likely go to Tuesday, May 5th. Okay, item E.
Move to approve the town council meeting minutes for January 26, 2026.
Second.
Great. Any edits or comments? All in favor? Say aye. 7-0. Thank you. Item 6, announcements. Town Administrator Casey?
Thank you. So Councilor Butler asked about Microsoft Teams and whether or not, now that we're implementing, 365, if we were going to be moving in that direction. So when I spoke with IT, they said we will evaluate whether or not going to Teams is a better platform than Zoom. So the final decision hasn't been made yet. As you know, Kevin is on leave and he is retiring in April. So before you is our brochure for the recruitment for the replacement for that position. I worked with Jen and Madison Melvin in HR to come up with this format. We used a similar format in North Andover. It gives a little bit more depth and breadth to the job, and it's a little bit more attractive to people that want to look at the community as well as what the position is. And I'm very proud of the team for coming up with this, so I encourage anyone that is interested in working alongside me to send in an application.
Councilor Carney's got a question.
Sorry, I was reading. Councilor Carney.
Yeah, in considering this, I'd like to see the chain of command now and look at it from the standpoint of how many direct reports and what might be looked at in regards to, correcting that. So,
I'm glad you asked that question, because if you'll see, the title of the position is Assistant Town Administrator for Finance Operations. So we're looking at the structure and how we can create different departments that is more in line with how municipals are structured, like a finance department, treasury, collecting, assessors. Those all come under a finance department. Then you have, an operations department that sometimes the town clerk comes under, and different departments, IT. So we're looking at all of those different things, and we'll be making some changes and recommendations.
Thank you.
And then just one more thing.
Yes.
And we met with the consultant for the performance evaluation program that dovetails with our reorganization, because I don't want to write 23 performance evaluations. So we're gathering a team together comprised of department heads as well as middle managers and staff that will be subject to the performance evaluation program. This needs to be bargained into the contracts, so that process does not go as quickly, obviously, as non-represented employees. We can get this pretty much, that would be all the department heads, can get this pretty much working. I'm hoping for July 1 to be done on a person's anniversary date so that they're not all due on July 1. Some communities do it that way. I don't prefer to do it that way because I like to take time on my evaluations and do a really mindful and thoughtful job. He will also be doing training for the supervisors and the staff on how to implement a performance evaluation plan, because many of our managers who have always worked here have never done performance evaluations. So it's critical that they're implemented correctly as well as, thoroughly, and that everyone is evaluating at the same level. That's all. Thank you.
Quick question for you on this.
Of
Can
course.
you hire in sort of advance of Kevin's retirement, or do you have to wait?
We can make an offer, but in terms of salary-wise, I would have to look at what the differential would be in order to bring someone on before his retirement date.
Okay.
Because I can't spend more than he was. You wouldn't like that, Doug, I know. But that is something we are looking at, because ideally there is overlap between various positions.
Okay.
So I know the budget gives an opportunity to do kind of some of the changes that, you've been thinking about that we mentioned during the interview process. I think when you have changes, we just love, an updated org chart, kind of hear about the changes that are happening. I know they're slow, they take time, but I know that was a priority for a lot of us around the table. So as Councillor Carney said, if we could get updates, that would be great. But I do think this is an opportunity to make some changes in a good way.
So you said this is titled Director of Finance Operations, or is it Finance and Operations, or it's Finance Operations and then Operations would be a different
Correct.
person?
Yes.
Okay.
Operations usually is the position that would overlook. It depends on the community. All communities are kind of structured a little bit different, but
Clerk, DPW potentially. And
DPW would be its standalone department, but you would put some of the smaller departments. So, for example, animal control currently reports directly to me. The parking officer, the hearing officer reports directly to me, which is fantastic because I'm learning so much about animal control.
Got rid of half of them.
He meant that affectionately. So those are the kind of departments that could come under operations that I wouldn't have to report directly to me.
So not only is animal control reporting directly to you, but you kind of are animal control now.
Actually, I have to give props to Anthony Chi, who stepped up, volunteered, and now he is acting animal control officer. We are in the final stages of approving the MOA between the three communities. This would be now Stoneham and Melrose and us. I took a look at the job description today that was created by Polly, who's the HR director in Melrose, and she did a great job. So I'm very excited about this change that hopefully is actually going to save us a little bit of money as well as get some money into education, to Maureen's point. With that savings, we can roll some into more enhanced education. But monitoring is definitely number one on the job description.
Thank you. Any other announcements? Councillor Fox.
I have an announcement and a question related to the announcement.
Okay.
So, as you may have seen over the weekend, Jessie Diggins is an Olympian living in Greenwood. She's a few more races coming up this week. Thanks to the Italian time change, they're very early in the morning for us, but like 7 a.m., 5:45, times like that, coming up this week. And my question is, can we do something when she gets back? Being that we haven't had an Olympian in town for a while. I know when I was a kid and Nancy Kerrigan was in Stoneham, she came back and there was a parade for her, even though it was the winter. But I don't know if there's something we could do. I know the Civic Center's booked, apparently every day. So if there's kind of alternate thing we could come up with when she gets home, I think that'd be a nice touch.
I think that would be a great idea, and I'll talk it over with staff in the chair. Thank you for bringing that to my attention.
She's the cross-country skier.
Yes.
And there's more, she has more races coming up?
More races coming up, yeah.
Great.
Including tomorrow, I think at 5:45, our time.
It's a reasonable time in Italy.
In Italy, it's perfect time. It's a 6-hour time difference.
Dee, you'll let us know, talking to your team, that
Yes.
sounds great.
Yes,
Always,
absolutely.
we're just so proud of everyone from Wakefield who goes on and does great things. So that is a great,
That'd be nice to post that on the webpage too, to let people know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm hearing that for the first time tonight, that's why.
No, she came in 8th on Saturday's race. And more coming, depending how she does in the next couple of days as qualifiers, and there's the medal races towards the end of the week.
and you said cross country?
Cross country, yeah.
And did she grow up in Wakefield or just
No, she
lives
grew
here
up in
now?
Minnesota, and she moved here a few years ago. Trains in Vermont, and yet lives in Wakefield in Greenwood, so it's very, very interesting.
It is hilly there.
Yeah, Greenwood is known for that great cross-country track we have over there for skiing.
Maybe she makes it to break hard for some practicing.
I'm told that she goes rollerblading up and down Main Street to train, that people have seen her doing it, so yeah, we'll find out.
Well, good luck to her. That's
Thank
exciting.
you for sharing that, Councillor Fox. Any other announcements? Councillor Chines.
Just a couple things. First of all, I just wanted to say, Councillor Constance and I had the chance to go visit the new Wakefield High School building under construction next door to us on Saturday, and it really, every time that I see it, I'm just more impressed, both with the progress for the building, but how amazing this facility is going to be. And so I just wanted to highlight that it, it is looking incredible. We continue to be on time and on budget, and with the expectation that students will be there right after Christmas vacation this time next year. But really want to thank our building team, our permanent building committee, and all of the work. Dee, from you and your team, from Superintendent Lyons and his team, it's coming together really nicely. On the topic of kudos, also want to just express thanks to the DPW. I mean, it's been a really busy few weeks. I feel like all of the snow that you would get over several winters has come this year, and there doesn't seem to be a let up over the next few days. So I know they've been working really hard. I mean, I've heard from a lot of people in the community, asking about, why isn't the street cleared? And inevitably, it kind of gets done the next day as they're able to get to it. So thank you to everyone there. I know they're working really hard. I know a lot of folks are working on very little sleep over the past 2 weeks. So just want to give them some kudos for that. And then finally, just wanted to mention the Wakefield Educational Foundation Spelling Bee is back. Counselor Butt, we may need to get our team back together for that. That will be on March 13th at the West Side Social Club. That is another great event. It's a lot of fun, and really encourage people to participate in that. It goes to support a good cause, too.
Is it easier than trivia?
It is a little easier than trivia, although...
Jonathan is speaking as a defending champ.
Oh,
Well, you were on my team when we were the defending champ.
We are defending champs.
Okay.
I kept
couple
on,
of
I kept on
second
looking for
places.
you on the pitches, I didn't see you.
No, that was the trivia. We didn't get an update on how trivia went.
Didn't go well for the Butlers.
It's a fun night, and it raises money for a great cause. Let's say it that way. We will say
So
it that
you
way.
guys
First place finish is what you're saying.
You're selling yourself short, because you guys were, in the top half along with our team. Again, the Butlers did not
Just the butler. The Mrs. Butler did not like participate. So,
But no, another great event for a great
Yeah,
cause.
it's a good
And God, there are a lot of smart people in this town.
Absolutely.
Any other announcements? I will just add two. One, we want to welcome Jillian Terry, who has joined as a new police officer. I believe this is so welcome to Wakefield, to police officer Jillian Terry. I think this is the most number of women that the police department has ever had in their history. So it was a great event to see her getting sworn in, that Councilor Chines and Town Administrator Casey, we all saw that last week. And then just to let everyone know, at the library tomorrow, there's a Wakefield Black History presentation. There's a couple of individuals who have done walking tours in town. We will not be walking tomorrow. It'll be in the heated library tomorrow at 6 p.m. There's more information on the library website, but I would sign up. It's a really great walking tour with learning a lot of interesting things about our town. Okay, any other announcements? Sherry, any announcements?
No, I'm all set.
Okay. Item 7, matters not anticipated for agenda. Don't see anything. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second, great. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, great. Our next regular town council meeting will be Monday, February 23rd at 7 p.m. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.